Добрейшего всем, дамы и господа, с вами Кулин, и сегодня я вас поприветствую здесь, где я в прошлый раз проходил события с фотографиями, и сегодня у нас начинается большой основной ивент. Да-да, если что, мы в Геншине. Вчера стало доступно главное событие этого патча, а именно Краски фиалкового сада. Отправляемся с вами мы на праздник Иродори. И будем там, я так понимаю, создавать свое стихотворение, ну и вдобавок проходить те события, которые у нас там будут. А именно театр Механикус, ну и, по-моему, там должно быть у нас еще мелкое событие, связанное с стойками и так далее. Да, ну, вообще-то говоря, там будет довольно-таки весело, и вдобавок здесь можно забрать халявного синсю. Так что... если он вам нужен, то 100% проходите этот ивентос и забирайте свои прямогемщики. Ну и, конечно же, синего, иначе куда же он будет без вас деваться? Ладненько, я, пожалуй, уже на этот раз растягивать не буду. Все же давайте быстренько приступим и посмотрим, как у нас там все происходит. Итак, тпшаемся в Иназуму и, конечно же, идем к Катерине смотреть на то, что у нас там сейчас будет. Ладно, я надеюсь, здесь у нас будет быстро, иначе, понимаете, душнильные диалоги нам тут не нужны. Сейчас глянем и проверим. Да, у нас, поскольку винтос, то у нас специальное задание есть, так что будем его принимать.
Perhaps you have heard that Inazuma will soon be holding a major festival, the magnificent Irodori Festival.
Да. Вот тебе и Иназума. А до этого как бы у нас был тоже ивент, и, по сути говоря, он был связан с экономией. Но по факту как бы это Иназума, так что...
You know Miko, she always has some unusual ideas in her head. You can bet a festival planned by her is gonna be one to remember. We'd better go to Grand Narukami Shrine and...
Lady Yae is currently at Yae Publishing House
нет
in
необходимости. И хорошо.
So there is no need to go all the way to the shrine.
Oh, well that's convenient enough.
Все отличненько. Ну и погнали. Сейчас опять будем идти к Никам. Ну и смотреть на то, что там у нас сейчас будет. Там, скорее всего, у нас там сейчас будет балаганчик. Так что давай-ка уж я быстренько как-нибудь я дойду до туда. Ну да, даже отсюда видно. Балаган начинается. Хорошо.
All the books and commission prints for Yae Publishing House were bound and sent out yesterday afternoon, Lady Yae.
Very good. We have already received word from Apekusu and Sailing Breeze that the materials are all in place for Shogun Almighty reborn as Raiden with unlimited power and Pretty Please Kitsune Guji.
Well done. And what about you, Onodera?
Хорошо, смотрим. Если не ошибаюсь, то тот, который у нас был в Делике.
Onodera?
Oh, yes, Lady Yae. Everything is ready for the new issue release party.
You are the one who organized the plans for this release party. In other words, you are the team's fearless leader now. So please, show some confidence. Besides, there's no need to be nervous. This project is destined for success. I feel quite optimistic about it. I shall specially grant you leave for the next couple of days, Onodera. Please take the opportunity to have a good rest.
Yes, Lady Yae. Thank you very much.
All right then. Is everyone clear about their assignments? Good. We are running out of time, so let's get moving.
Все рассосались? Хорошо. А значит, вылетаем мы.
Hello, little ones. I take it you have received my commission,
Some organizer you are! It's nearly time for the festival and you're still over here ramping things up for your light novel business! Shouldn't you be getting back to the Grand Narukami Shrine? You weren't thinking of dumping all the festival preparations on us, were you?
Вот эта самая фразка. Великолепно. Ну да. Обломись и как бы и помечтай.
My,
Всё.
such harsh words. It hurts to hear that kind of talk from you two. But as you can clearly see, I'm here
Отлынивает. Ну,
working like a
это
dog for
если
the
что, можно
festival.
сказать.
Yet you
Лиса.
say I'm
Так
not
что
doing
вот.
my job. Let me ask you, little ones, whoever said that the festival must involve the Grand Narukami Shrine?
Huh? But isn't that a given? This is Inazuma after.
Yes, that is true. But now that the Sokoku decree has been lifted, Inazuma is no longer the same nation that once resisted change tooth and nail. Therefore, rather than sticking to the same old traditional festival, the Yashiro Commission and I have decided to shake things up a little.
Иназумский, но
This
уникальный.
time
А
we'll
вот
be
только
holding an
насколько?
international
Ну ладненько.
cultural festival, distinctly
Сейчас
Inazuman, but with a
взглянем на
unique twist.
культурный фестиваль, да?
I suppose I should start by telling you the origins. Legend has it that there were 5 poets in ancient Inazuma who were supremely gifted in singing and writing poetry. They are known as the 5 Kasen. Every year, one of the 5 would present a collection of the group's poems to the shogun for review, which would then spark culture discussions regarding those works. Thanks to them, Inazuma's culture blossomed and gained great influence at that time. As time passed, people began creating various tales based on the 5 Kasen. The Iridori Festival was also developed as a result to show appreciation for their works, which so greatly enriched our lives.
Sounds like a festival that's really rooted in culture.
Культурные, вы понимаете, места.
Indeed.
Всего лишь просто
To
достаточно
describe it in the words of the
понасочинять.
ancients, it'd be
Ну,
refined
а то, кто
elegance.
может, тот и сделает.
Unfortunately, with the flow of time, people have gradually forgotten about the 5 Kasen and the festival, which is precisely why I've decided to revive the Iridori Fest, holding a cultural convention featuring light novels.
Все в классике. Ладно. Опять снова Мика обломись.
Wait a minute! Light novels?
Please stop looking at me with those baffled expressions. In ancient times, poetry was all the rage. But nowadays, the entertainment format of choice is... The important thing is not the format, but the creative work itself. It is impossible to come up with anything fresh. Speaking of which, don't you think that the concept of focusing on the now perfectly suits the current Inazuma? And besides, it's a great opportunity to reintroduce Inazuma to all Teyvat through light novels. As they say,
Самооправдание.
it's 2 birds
Вот это
with
все,
one
как говорится,
stone.
в тонкостях.
Whoa, that was close. Paimon was nearly carried away by Miko's persuasive. Come on, Miko! You can't fool us. We know you by now. This is all definitely stemming from your own person.
I can't deny that my hobbies had no part to play in this. However, regardless of whether it's light novels or a festival, catching people's attention with a fresh concept is the essence here. Well, what do you say? Aren't you two even a little curious about what interesting things you...
Maybe a little. Oh, all right. Paimon's super curious now.
Come, let's pay a visit to the venue in Rito together. I promise that it will give you a whole new perspective on the... There we'll meet a special someone who will tell you more about your tasks.
Ну и здесь. Сейчас мы встретим кое-кого. Ну и сразу погодка здесь у нас изменилась. Да, и я знаю этого челика, поскольку я уже проходил задание легенд.
Around the Outlander Affairs Agency will become the main exhibition space for light novels. Once things are in full swing, not only will there be lots of official and fan-created work on display, there'll also be exclusive giveaways, prizes, and this small plaza in front of the International Trade Association will be called the 5 Kasen Plaza during the festival. And nearby shops will be selling special light novel merchandise. You certainly won't want to miss out.
Wow. How should Paimon put this?
Да, это рай далеких
Definitely not your
романов.
typical festival, but it sure looks like it'll be quite
Что
the
поймать
party.
будет здесь очень весело.
Miko, what are these blank boards in the center of the plaza?
Yes, those are...
Ah, Lady I did mention that there would be some reliable helpers coming to assist with the festivities. It appears she meant you two. At last we meet again, Traveler and Paimon. Tell me, how are you faring recently?
Oh, it's Ayato! Wow, so even a busy guy like yourself is here to attend the Iridori Iridori Festival?
Preparing festivals falls under the Yashiro Commission's scope of responsibilities. Seeing as Lady Yae has poured her heart and soul.
Жду, когда здесь потом Аяка появится, потому что, вы же понимаете, сиги когда будет повеселее. Ну ладно, братишка тоже, так сказать, не тоскует.
Come now, Ayato. We're not strangers here. There's no need to sound so formal. We were just about to discuss the boards over here. They're related to our little helper's tasks, so I'll let you give them a detailed rundown.
Certainly. I assume you two already know that the Iridori Festival originated from the 5 Kasen. These 5 boards are here for painting their portraits. This Iridori Festival is not only the first major festival to be held in Inazuma since the lifting of the Sakoku decree, it is also an event deeply rooted in culture and the arts. Therefore, the Yashiro Commission has personally invited several cultural celebrities from other... For example, the artist we have invited to paint these portraits hails from the distant land of Mondstadt.
Сразу видно, про кого он говорит, сразу видно.
The Yashiro Commission
Те,
will
кто
arrange
знает, поймут.
accommodations and food in Inazuma for each of the distinguished guests. However, we fear that staying in a foreign land may feel a little uncomfortable, which is precisely why it would be ideal to have someone familiar with both Inazuma and other nations of Teyvat to serve as a guide for our
Нас
guests.
склонен к этому.
I knew you would catch on.
Знаю.
It is our hope that you would be able to guide the guests from the harbor to their residence at the International Trade Association, while providing any necessary assistance along the way. This arrival schedule includes the details of the ships on which the guests will be arriving. All you simply have to do is go to the docks at the indicated times.
Ну и вот сама расписочка, где у нас тут все подробно показывается, кто и во сколько у нас тут прибудет. И у нас, скорее всего, будет именно вот эта весточка. А это у нас будет, по-моему, уже потом открываться, где-то через день, через 2. Так что, ладненько. А 8 утра надо подождать.
It's settled then. My, look at the time. I have to meet with my editors, so I must be going now. During the festival, most of the Yae Publishing House's editors will be staying near the Outlander Affairs Agency. If you run into any problems, you may...
This festival requires the full cooperation of the Tri-Commission, and there are still many minor details which require my attention, so I must excuse myself for now.
Все, хорошо. Ну что ж, рассчитывайте. Так, и теперь нужно ждать следующего дня. Давай-ка отматывать. До 6 утра давай лучше я отмотаю. Прям утром отмотаю. И сейчас увидим, да, кое-кого нам незнакомого. Скорее всего. Ну или незнакомого для тех, кто обычно здесь не приходил. Манштат и задание легенд.
The artist for the 5 Kasen portraits should be on board. The boat should be arriving soon, so let's head down to the docks.
Я уже на пристани пойму, так что не волнуйся. И корабль только сейчас появился почему-то. Хотя я как бы на отмотке можно было его видеть.
Yes, that's right. We are bards from Mondstadt. Word has it that Inazuma has undergone many changes of late. We hope to find fresh inspiration here.
А, что ты делаешь, пойма? Не ударяй. Этот ясень пень должен потом, кстати, появиться. В каком-то моменте. Ну ты же знаешь.
Paimon sees what you're getting at. Even though Venti no longer rules over Mondstadt, he's still an Archon. If he came rushing to Inazuma at the first mention of a festival, not only would it seem a little childish, it would also sort of be shameless of him too.
Mr. Honorary Knight, Paimon!
It's Klee! Were you also invited to the Iridori Festival?
Да-да, привет тебе, Кли, привет, привет. Ну и вот Альбедоч, который у меня есть.
But because everyone in the Knights of Favonius has been really busy these days, Albedo arranged for someone here to issue me a dependent pack.
Greetings, Traveler and Paimon. After hearing that Inazuma was making preparations for the Irodori festival...
Ha! Paimon knew it! Albedo's the one they've invited to paint the 5 Kasen!
It seems that you already know why I'm here. Just so you're aware, I'll be using my pen name in Inazuma. Calc. Oh, by the way, do you know where the International Trade Association is? I'll be meeting with the editorial director of the Yae Publishing House.
Yeah, the International Trade Association is where you'll be staying in Inazuma. We'll be heading there too.
Great. Let's get going then.
Все, идем туда. Так что, Альбедыч, не боись. Мы тебя проводим. Я лучше ТПшный, чтобы было проще. Ну и прямо вот здесь. Продолжаем.
Wow, it's so beautiful here! So many things I've never seen before.
Slow down, Klee. Please be careful not to bump into other... Telling Klee so many stories about Inazuma during the trip was... As a result, she could hardly sleep all the way here. It appears she's even more excited.
Немного волнения все же ей не повредит. Бывает все же такое.
Strange. It seems that the editorial director, Mr. Hiroyama, isn't here yet. I'm certain he said that he'd be sure to arrive before me. This might be a problem. Well, Mr. Hiroyama was supposed to meet with me and give me some reference materials about the 5 Kasen today. That way, I could better visualize the content for my paintings.
You mean you had no idea what you'd be painting before you arrived in Inazuma?
I only know of the 5 Kasen by name. Because of the sheer age of the tale, very little has been passed down to this day. So Mr. Hiroyama decided to help me collect some more information. I'm the type of painter who can complete a painting quickly as long as I'm inspired. So I agreed on only receiving the details today.
So when do the paintings have to be done?
According to the festival plans, the portraits will be revealed one at a time throughout the various stages of the Irodori festival.
Вот, у нас сначала вот это начнется, а потом уже... Потом еще будут картинки.
There's no need to panic. When I was working on light novel illustrations, because the manuscripts are shipped by boat, things were always tight and finished at the last minute. Just last month, to ensure the latest book of A Legend of Sword would be finished for the Irodori festival, I had to complete the final chapter's illustrations the same day I received the manuscript. I heard that my illustrations were sent to print as soon as they arrived in Inazuma. I still don't know how well they turned out.
Paimon isn't sure she should feel sympathetic for your working conditions, or...
Of course, I would still prefer to receive any possible reference materials in advance, so that I can be better prepared.
Oh, right! The editors of the Yae Publishing House will all be around the Outlander Affairs agent. Who knows? Maybe Mr. Hiroyama's over there too. We'll take you over there to see if we can find him, Albedo.
Alright, it's worth a try. Klee, you haven't slept for a while now. Please stay at our residence in the International Trade Association and get some rest.
Okie dokie. Don't worry, Albedo. I'll be on my best behavior.
Все, хорошо. Надеюсь, Кли опять тут ничего взрывать не будет. А то уж, понимаете, будет неприятно, если что-нибудь тут здесь взорвется.
This can't be happening. The moment we need to contact Onodera is when he's on special leave. Kuroda and I will go back to Inazuma City for an emergency printing run. The demand for this book is so high, though. Even with the emergency prints, it still might not be enough.
Despite everything, we're still lucky that we found out today. If this had happened a few days later, then we'd really be in boiling water. Hey, do you think that suspicious guy they found in the warehouse has anything to do?
Well, the editorial director is on his way over there to investigate the
Sorry to interrupt, but what's going on here?
Oh, hey,
Сейчас мы
traveler.
встретим того
Don't
самого
worry,
Барда. Он
it's
должен там
nothing,
быть,
just
ну
an
и
internal issue.
начнется
How
веселушечка,
can I-
I'm looking
заварушечка.
for the editorial director, Mr. Hiroyama. Does anyone know where he is now?
Mr. Hirayama is currently at the warehouse down by the harbor.
Oh, hold on a second, excuse me. But you must be Calx, the one who was invited to paint the 5 Kasen for the festival?
Yes, that's me.
My name is Kuroda. You must be inquiring about information regarding the 5 Kasen. I do apologize, but please make yourself comfortable at the International Trade Association, and I will let Mr. Hirayama know to send you the material.
Oh, no need. You guys look super busy.
Сами его найдем. Ну, правильно. Лучше будет.
Well,
Excuse me, but is there something wrong with the latest volume of A Legend of Sword?
huh? How did you know?
Well, since you were all aware that Mr. Hirayama needed to send me some supporting materials, that means the editorial director didn't forget about it. To add to that, despite being aware that I am Calx, you were still unwilling to let me go to Mr. Hirayama direct. After considering these factors, the only reason you would try to stall me is if something happened to A Legend of Sword, which I did the illustrations for.
Well, I'm very sorry. The situation is just as you said, Calx. I suppose it doesn't hurt to tell you now. Earlier today, someone spotted a suspicious outlander sneaking
Пробрался
around
на
inside
сквот у
the
гавани,
Gероев festival
и, конечно
warehouse
же,
down by
да,
the docks.
начался
So they
грабеж.
promptly
Но по
alerted the
факту
Tenryou Commission.
он там где-то в заварушке
Tenryou Commission
опять
was
бухал.
concerned about potential cargo theft, so they
Да, знаете,
contacted
как раз.
everyone who was renting space in the warehouse. It was then that we realized that the latest copies of A Legend of Sword had suddenly gone missing.
What? The books are missing?
Shh, not so loud. Not only is this book an eagerly anticipated release in the last phase of the Iridori Festival, but the author, Chinyu, will be personally attending.
Because of the dire situation, Mr. Hirayama immediately hurried to the warehouse to determine whether the theft was related to that suspicious outlander.
I see. It would be a great misfortune if A Legend of Sword would not be released on schedule. And quite a disappointment for Chenyu as well. If Mr. Hirayama has gone to the warehouse at the docks, then I'll go down to see if I can be of any help.
So the author of A Legend of Sword is Jayu. Sounds familiar. Hey, isn't that Xingqiu's pen name?
Oh, do you know him?
Встречались пару раз.
Xingqiu
Да,
would definitely
конечно.
be upset if he
В
discovered
Ливии.
his books are missing. Let's accompany Albedo to the warehouse too.
Давай-ка на склад. Это прямо вот здесь. О, вот и он. Вот и он. Вот ваш бард, господа.
It's you! Why are you here?
I'm here on behalf of the Tenryou Commission, of course. Is that surprising?
No, Sarah, Paimon wasn't talking about you. So, tone-deaf bard. A suspicious
Бард-бродяжка, подозрительный чужеземец. Не ты случайно? Да, и естественно. Опять бухал, как всегда.
Considering the evidence, it appears that the suspicious outlander is indeed me.
As I have told you, you are a suspect. Before your allegations of theft and illegal entry as a stowaway are cleared, you are to remain silent. Don't make me say it again. Traveler, Paimon, do you know this self-proclaimed bard from Mondstadt?
Не сказал бы, что он незнакомец.
Listen, Sarah. Knowing him, it's safe to say that he wasn't behind the theft.
Although he claims to be a special guest for the Iridori Festival, he's failed to present his invitation letter. Therefore, we can only suspect that he might have entered the country illegally. And just a moment ago, we caught him in a dandelion wine crate near the Sailing Breeze. If it would help shed any light on the situation, then please.
Oh, Fenty! You didn't really come here illegally, did you?
Ouch, your words wound me. We've been apart for so long, and
Это
the
просто
moment we meet
подозрение.
again, all I'm
Вот
greeted
главная
with is
привычка этого
grilling
барда.
questions and suspicious glares. You arrived in Inazuma via similar means, or so I heard. You of all people should be more understanding, don't you?
Similar means?
Не будем ворошить прошлое.
I merely jest. Fear not, for the person who sent me the invitation is none other than Kamisato Ayato of Yashiro Commission. It's unlikely that someone acquainted with the likes of him would ever be here illegally, right?
But why weren't you on the same ship as the other bards?
Well, once I received the invitation letter, I couldn't help but want to come to Inazuma a little early. It was then that I happened upon a cargo ship bound. Once aboard, I found the captain to be a kindred spirit, and I was treated to an abundance of fine liquor along the way. I must have fall
Ладно,
asleep in
и
the
я, пожалуй,
garden
уже не буду
while
про это говорить.
And when I woke up, I found myself in this warehouse with a Tenryou Commission General glaring at me.
Coming from Venti, this story is
Ребячество,
quite
безответственность,
believable.
выглядит как дешевочка.
Excuse me, I'm the owner of the stolen goods from the IA Publishing House, and there are some questions I would like. Based on what you just said, it seems you've been in the warehouse for some time now. If that's the case, did you happen to hear anything unusual?
Actually, I did hear some faint footsteps around me a couple of times.
But if you clearly heard something, why...
Oh, I seem to understand that.
Huh? What did you notice out?
When it comes to burglars, they are generally associated with prying or rummaging through things. What Venti means is that he did not hear anything unusual like that. As for the sound of footsteps, because this is a warehouse where many goods are coming in and out each day, it is quite normal for people to be walking around.
I see. But if that's the case, then we're back to square one regarding the stolen books.
No, not quite. From the facts that have been presented to us, we can draw at least 3 conclusions now. First, whoever took the novels is not a spur-of-the-moment burglar.
И в-третьих, он был не один, снова по классике.
Second, the culprit was very familiar with the warehouse, and might even have a key. I knew you'd catch on, traveler. One person couldn't possibly transport so many heavy books in such a short window of time. It must have been a team effort. It goes without saying that Venti clearly does not match up with our culprits.
Yes, I agree with your reasoning. Mr. Hirayama, the Tenryou Commission will continue by investigating the warehouse staff. If you come across any further clues, please notify us immediately.
Yes, understood. I'll leave it to you then.
I suppose I'm free as a bird then.
И сейчас, оп, нет.
Not so fast. Even though we've cleared the theft allegations, we still haven't ascertained whether your arrival in Inazuma was legal or not.
Aw, 'tis a shame. I thought surely after my honest account you might let me off the hook.
Sara's quite the meticulous one. So, where's your invitation letter, Venti?
Угадайте, где оно? И где обычно там все хранится?
Yes, the invitation letter.
Если, конечно же, вы ходите каждый день, то
truly sorry.
чувствовать вы по-любому должны.
How could you lose something so important?
Don't be mistaken. I was well aware of how important it was. But I didn't bring any luggage with me, and the letter was too big to fit in my pocket. Strange. Though I had a little too much to drink, I know that I kept it in a secure place.
If you were holding the invitation in your hand the whole time, then why did you put it down?
Well, to properly compare the taste of Mondstadt wine and Inazuman sake, I had to hold a glass in each hand. I couldn't both hold the invitation and a glass at the same time. But surely I wouldn't put it in just any...
In which case, I believe there's only one place it could be. Have you figured it out, traveler?
Huh? You're way ahead of Paimon. Do you two already know where the invitation letter...
Ботинки?
Huh? That doesn't sound right. The invitation is pretty big, isn't it?
Drinking too much may occasionally render the tongue a little numb, but it's true. It certainly wouldn't affect the feet.
Ладно, видите?
Ah, yes! I remember now. I knew you'd help me find it.
Ну вот, все, нашли письмо.
This is indeed an invitation letter issued by the Yashiro Commission. Now that we've confirmed this guest's identity, however, starting tonight, I would advise you to stay at the International Trade Association. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be leaving now.
Все, остается лишь только вот эта вот пачка.
All right. Let's go talk to Mr. Hirayama about Albedo's ref...
Mr. Hirayama, I'm Calx. We had originally arranged to meet today.
Ah, yes, so you are, Calx. I'm very sorry that you've arrived in Inazuma only to find such a mess. These are the materials regarding the 5 Kassen. All the information that we could find is compiled here.
Такс. Это отчет. Ладненько.
Let's see here. Yes, it's just as I had suspected. Monikers such as Suiko and Aoi no Okina aren't the real names of the 5 Kassen. Though there were once many stories regarding each of the 5 Kassen, the validity of their contents can no longer be verified in present times. Alas, what a shame. But at the very least, we know that most of the stories were written according to a similar style. So there is still something we may glean from this.
So, is the info useful for your paintings, Albedo?
To some extent, yes. However, I must admit
Вдохновения нет,
still
вдохновения
lacking,
нет, прям
and,
печальненько.
I am
Ну, ладненько.
sorry that this information is not as exhaustive as you had hoped. However, it is not possible to gather anything more, though Lady Yae did say that there are many variations of the story about the 5 Kasen, and everyone has a different story in their heart. So all you need to do is follow through with what's in your own heart, and create something that you yourself find.
That does sound like something Miko would say.
Thank you, Mr. Hirayama. No need to worry. I'll find inspiration for the...
Great. I'll leave it to you then, Calx. Oh, and there's one more thing I need to ask of everyone. Tomorrow morning, Mr. Genyu, the author of A Legend of Sword, will be arriving in Inazuma by boat. Whether the stolen books are eventually recovered or not, the Yae Publishing House will do its best to ensure that you have my gratitude. I'll be going then.
Well,
Все, хорошо.
since there's nothing more we can do here.
Барт что-то нашел. Сейчас выясним.
Auntie, what are you doing over there? You don't want us to leave you behind, do you?
Traveler, Albedo, would you mind coming over here for a moment?
А что он там нашел? Скорее нашел он что-то интересное. Вырванное.
What is it, Venti? A piece of paper?
Indeed. When I awakened to find myself in the warehouse this morning, I discovered this paper in the cargo crate where I was... I didn't think much of it then. I thought it was merely a scrap piece of paper that had fallen into the cargo. But on second thought, I think it's worth having you take a look at what's written.
Ясно. Ну, теперь видно. Не знаю, то ли это фича, то ли это ошибка.
Let me see. Suiko chapter. Wait a minute. Isn't Suiko the name of one of the 5 Kasen?
The story told in this poem roughly boils down to Suiko getting tipsy and letting some poems that were meant for the shogun get this story sounds familiar to my ear. Where have I heard it?
Seriously? It's literally the same story you just experienced yesterday.
Oh, indeed it is.
Связанное дело.
Yes, I concur. The person who left this paper could quite possibly be the criminal. But why leave the paper here in such a fashion? And if the one who left it here was a witness, why didn't they attempt to stop the burglary?
All right, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Meeting together in Inazuma like this is a most rare occasion. Since we've been busy from the start of the day, let us find an inn with good drink to keep our thirst at bay.
Hey, you just sobered up and you're already
Опять бухать все же хочет. Да хорош. Давай по-нормальному. Тебе еще раздувать же нужно всех.
No, it's fine. Let's all go for a drink together. It'll be my treat.
Ладно, а портрет?
As I mentioned before, I'm the kind of artist who can work quickly once I'm inspired. And now, it seems I've found my source of if I use a model as reference for the piece.
In that case, we'll need to order more dishes. One year, the poet Suiko made his way to Tenshukaku and presented the Kasen's work for the shogun's perusal. But a page from the works of Aoi no Okina had been torn out, and Suiko was questioned regarding the matter. Suiko pleaded guilty. He admitted to drinking at the tavern the night before, and vaguely recalled a mysterious figure approaching while he was intoxicated.
Ну и сейчас у нас здесь будет картиночка.
You really came through, Albedo. You were able to complete the first portrait before the opening ceremony.
Yes, it really is a sight to behold. Not only does it harken to the traditional style of Inazuma, but it also makes use of modern aesthetics.
Как бы это поедет, но по факту Венти. Вау, вот фокусы.
Hey, don't get too full of yourself, tone-deaf bard. You were just a model. The person in the artwork isn't actually you. Well, Albedo, who will be your next portrait?
The next one will be Aoi no Okina of the 5 Kasen.
Albedo, might I suggest waiting a little before starting on the next one? Who knows? You might soon discover another story.
Another story?
I believe he's referring to the possibility of finding another paper with tales of the 5 Kasen. According to the reference
Первых
materials I was
4
given,
глав.
we've only found
Валяют
the
где-то,
first
видимо,
of a total
париты,
of
и
4
там
chapters.
надо будет искать их.
You think the mysterious person who left the
Ну,
first
это, наверное, уже
paper
будет
will strike
попозже.
again?
It certainly is a possibility. Also, there are some points regarding the stories of the 5 Kasen that have left me wrapped. For example, the reference materials make mention of 5 legendary figures, yet all the popular stories only consist of 4. It appears that throughout all the stories, there is never a chapter dedicated to Kuronushi.
Yes, I'm also curious about these stories myself. But who knows? They may merely be akin to the old saying in Mondstadt. Seeds of stories brought by the wind and cultivated by time. So for now, we need but just wait patiently.
Так, ну и все. Первая глава у нас завершена. Дальше уже следующая откроется у нас уже в субботу. А то есть это уже завтра, считайте. Так. Здесь доступна лунная поэзия. И там чуть позже. Или она и доступна вроде как уже. Вот это. Здесь уже у нас будет веточка скли. Ну и там должна быть еще плюс Йойми. Но, пожалуй, я уже буду снимать уже в следующий раз. Завтра тем более у нас выйдет вот это. Так что буду пока что продолжать вот это снимать. Ну что, друзья мои, и я буду завершать наш выпуск с этим вот ивентом. И это только пока что начало. А дальше у нас все будет только больше и больше. Ну и узнаем, чем же это у нас все закончится. А я чувствую, закончится все это у нас весело. А буду с вами прощаться. Конечно, ставьте лайки, записывайтесь на канал, ставьте как же на видосики. Ну и, конечно же, всем удачи и всем КБГ.